Well, we've had 5 practices now. We just had one this morning. We're on fall break. And so, as I said a couple weeks ago, I've been pleased with our guys' progress over the summer and then during the fall workouts, both individual and team. And after 5 practices, you know a little bit more about your team, but obviously the intensity level and the commitment to how we want to play and different things like that is on a high level. I'm very pleased after 5 days of practice. We got a long way to go, but it's been a good start, and so I feel positive about our guys' attitude and our guys' desire to be coached every day and to improve. And, so we're getting good leadership from our upperclassmen. Our freshmen are good players that know how to play the game, so they're going to help us. And we just got to keep plugging along. We have another one later today, and then off tomorrow. So you take the first 10 days of practice, and you're not only trying to kind of establish a work ethic in your practices, but, it's almost a football training camp. You go 2-a-days when you can. Guys have to learn to kind of push through it. You got to put them in some adverse situations, see how they respond. And so, you're able to get a lot of time on the court with the guys in comparison to what you did before. You go from 2 hours to 20, and you really want to kind of see where your team is at in some different areas. And so far, I've been pleased. As I said, we got a long way to go, but I like the attitude of the guys. I like the energy level. I like the camaraderie that I see on the court, and that's just something you need to build on because everything is still good. It's practice. Everybody gets to practice. There's no playing time issues. There's no points issues. There's no tough losses. That's when you really see the chemistry and leadership that you have as a team.
You had a pretty good idea even before the full practices began where your freshman skill sets were. But, have you been surprised pleasantly, perhaps, the way any of these young men have already begun to integrate? And are they up to speed, which is to say way behind defensively?
Well, you bring up a couple good points. Because of even the summer skill workouts and then in the fall, able to get a pretty good read on the skill package that they brought to the table. The one thing you never get a read on until you can go up and down the court 5-on-5 or break down stuff, maybe their basketball IQ in game speed situations. And they're ahead of schedule on that. They know how to play the game, and they make good plays. They make good decisions. All 3 of them are physically ready to play at this level, which is unique among freshmen. For perimeter players, Chris and Marcus have really good strength, and then Robert is obviously a strong player as well. And then, defensively they've gotten better. It's not like I'm searching the campus to find someone they can guard. So that they're getting better because of their intelligence. They're able to pick some stuff up relatively, quicker. And the other thing is because they have, some physicalness to them, that's sometimes where freshmen struggle as well. Not only because they don't know where to be, even when they're supposed to be where they're supposed to be at, they get knocked off that spot because they're not quite strong enough. That hasn't happened with those 3 guys.
On that same subject, when you go out and recruit, is that something that you look for in a player?
The physical strength?
Yeah.
It's a bonus. It's not something that's on the higher end of our criteria list when it comes to recruiting. Why? Because we have a great strength and conditioning coach and a great system that has gotten guys in the past stronger. We've done a good job of guys who've had to lose weight to lose weight and guys who've had to gain weight, good weight. It's easy to gain weight, but, good gain weight, with strength and so forth and explosiveness. So it's important. It helps the transition. Usually one of the biggest sticking points for a freshman in the transition from high school to college is the physicalness every day. You know what I mean? Every single day. It's not just the 30 times you put on the uniform. It's, every day in practice. And, I hope that we build a team that plays very physical and is tough and is not afraid to knock some people around and get knocked around a little bit too. So.
I think anybody who's watched this team the last couple of years has seen the physical development, the maturation of Daniel Miller, Cam Holsey. Can you speak to those two guys, and if you think they're really, really ready to become the kind of post guys that you need to win in this league?
That's the hope, and I think you saw the progress that they made from their freshman to their sophomore year. Maybe every bit as much mental as physical in terms of just the confidence and their acceptance of the responsibility that, they're in charge of their own performance, no one else, and sometimes young guys need to realize that, and then when that light goes on, they take a big jump in their performance. They've worked extremely hard. They've gotten stronger, more physical, which will help. But yeah, we're counting on them to be, as juniors now, really good ACC players, and that's important. There's no question about that. They're a big part of our offense, and I think last year where maybe it doesn't get the media coverage, I thought they anchored our defense pretty good, and they're going to have to do a really good job of that this year as well.
How much better do you expect obviously scoring was a big issue last year and kind of expected on your, how much with adding these guys is it we're going to see a big step up offensively from what you guys produced last year?
Yeah, I always say, and that's a question, the scoring. I think we averaged 60 points a game last year. At the same time, we're going to be better defensively. So, but our defense is not one that, gambles a lot and creates turnovers, which automatically creates easy baskets on the other end. So I always say, one of the things is we could even play at a faster pace and be better offensively, but as we get better defensively, as we become harder to score on, there's less possessions in a game. And so that number, how many points per game, that's a number that doesn't mean as much as maybe some people make it. Our offensive efficiency has to get much better. You have to be well over in your offensive efficiency 1.0. You got to be scoring at least a point per possession if you want to consider yourself a halfway decent offensive team. And we weren't close to that. And as I said the other week, our assists and our assist-to-turnover ratio were not good, and you have to do a much better job. If we can increase those and get better in those areas, we'll score more points. But I'm just going to be honest with you, we're never going to, because of the way we defend, we're never going to be scoring 85 points a game. We scored, I don't know, when we went to Carolina last year, I think we scored 80-something points. But that wasn't because all of a sudden we became great offensively. That's because we couldn't guard them. And so there was so many more possessions in that game.
Going back to Daniel and Cam, have you seen an increase in their confidence on the offensive end, the willingness to be part of that offense?
Yeah, I think, and we kind of joke around with Daniel. He just needs a little bit more Cam in him, because Cam sometimes he gets the ball in the post and it's the black hole. That thing ain't coming out. You know what I mean? Which is fine, for the most part. And we constantly are talking to Daniel about being more aggressive. In terms of scoring. He's such a good passer. I think he really enjoys getting shots for other people and passing the ball. But I think they're both much more confident in their ability to score around the basket, finish plays, knock down, 12 to 15, 17-foot jump shots as well. I do like the fact that all our bigs can knock down that shot, and those guys are interchangeable. There's not a true this position or that position. You can flip them around, do some different things with them. That versatility helps. There's no question about that. So their confidence has been very, very important in terms of as they've grown more confident, I've grown more confident and more demanding of our guards to get them the ball. And our guards know that, we joke around with Cam, but if they dig down on him or double down, he'll kick the ball out. And our guards know that. And our guards also know our offense is better when we've got the ball inside and made the defense adjust to an interior pass.
What have you seen? I mean, and it kind of follows what Matt was saying, but what have you seen out of Julian so far in the way he's, playing and what have you seen in his improvement?
Well, Julian is with that group of those, 4 post players has done a good job. The one thing, he's still probably our best 3-point shooter out of the big guys, and so now he brings a different dimension where he can stretch the defense. And his opportunity to make a bigger impact on our team is always going to come in the defensive end, the rebounding end, and his willingness to battle physically. Because, it doesn't matter what, in this league, this league has changed where there's a lot more maybe physical battles than maybe back in the, a while back, and so your post got to be ready to play a very physical game, and that's his challenge. That's where his conditioning and his strength, and he's made so much progress in that, is still always going to determine just how good he can get.
I know when you came here, you talked a lot about just changing the culture and getting guys to practice and play the way you want. So far, when you look at the way guys are practicing now, do you feel like there's still more they need to learn and they need to improve that?
Yeah, we're not at the end of that process yet by any means, and I'm not sure you ever want to get to the end of that process. I think that's always an ongoing thing, and the reason why is because every year the team is different. The process of valuing your work ethic, your mental approach to every day, valuing that more than your God-given talent is an important step because there's a lot of talented players out there. And what usually separates them is what you do on a daily basis. And our guys are much improved. We're much better. And because of that, I think there's going to be significant improvements in our performance as well. But that's something we talk about, that's a day in and day out challenge. I think if you ever say, all right, we've arrived, we've built a, perfect culture as a program, I don't think any coach around the country would say that, because you're always got a challenge, a crisis, always tweaking something in order to, continue to move forward.